Well, concerned Nigerians from different strata of the society have been re-echoing their voices on the need to dialogue instead of embarking on nationwide protests. The latest in the call for dialogue are traditional and religious leaders, groups, and elder statesmen, among others, who are advising Nigerian youths against protest based on their experience and involvement in life and, of course, foresight. The program tonight will focus on the need for dialogue for peace and national development. Welcome to Nigeria Today. I am Minna Daniels, and of course I'm holding forth for your regular host, Eucharia Clinton, who is currently undisposed. Once again, thanks for joining us. Joining us in the studio tonight for this all-important discussion is Jonathan Isaac. He is a security expert and public affairs analyst. Let me welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
All right. And of course, Reverend Joseph John Hayab, Country Director at Global Peace Foundation, Nigeria. I hope I got that name correct.
You are right. Thank you very much. And good evening, viewers.
Thank you so much. All right, gentlemen, it's been a very busy week for Nigerians, for government. I mean, government on one side and the governed on the other side. And the topic has always been pleading, cautioning, reminding them, about the issue at hand, which is a nationwide protest already planned. And this protest has flooded all the media. So let me start with you, Jonathan, as a security expert. Do you think that this proposed protest, it's ripe, first of all, at this point in time, given that this government is brand new, and given that this government is pretty busy churning out programs and projects and what have you? Do you think it's timely at this point in time? And do you think the protesters and those planning it are taking the right route at this point in time?
All right. I almost intervene when you were going to say, oh, the government is new. The government is, churning out programs, because Nigerians at this point are so, so angry, and before you know, even the statement can become a protest somehow. Yes, I agree with you that the government is doing their best to ensure that Nigerians get the fit. Unfortunately, the lack of policy sequencing has actually brought us back to some point, if we have to be sincere to ourselves. But as to answer your question tonight, whether the program or whether the protest is ripe or at this point, I think we should have to recount from our past experience. Taking you back to the NSAS protest, how the Nigerians felt after the protest. Did they get the desired result for the purpose for which they organized the protest? The answer is capital no. We know Nigerians have lost their lives. We know a lot of people that was either lost businesses or loved ones. And we cannot always say that protest is a way forward. Even our discussion tonight can be a means of advocating for policy reforms that can bring about good development to the country. It must not be that we go to the street. And considering the tense situation in the country, I think every sensitive Nigerians should first consider the life of the innocent people that is going to be involved in this protest. The real guys doing this protest or that sponsor this protest don't come to march. They stay in the limousine, stays in their Prado Jeep tinted and wherever, sometimes even bulletproofed. And then only time they come to do the show is when the media, which for you are part of it, because of course you are not going to turn them down that, oh, you're not coming. They pay for whatever they want to pay for. They go for this. The media also is part of it. So we need to begin to talk to the media too, because they're going to write to you soonest. We're having a protest. We are paying for this. And in as much that it's a freedom, that is everybody has a right to protest, I think the media also should be a way to advise the people, because the media also can, in a way, begin to promote them. And that also undermines the integrity or the effort of government in a way. And so in holistically, or the review of the whole thing, sensitive Nigerians should know that some of these guys are outside the country. Somebody is in Toronto. He's tweeting that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And the gullible ones are following up. We understand. So we should regard our, our experiences from even the recent one, which was the NSAS protest. Protest is accepted globally. You understand? Worldwide, protest is another means of, talking to government. But unfortunately, Nigeria as a country and some Nigerians do not understand the concept of what they call protest. And so every means can be used for the purpose of protest. Hooligans will be among these guys. And considering the situations on ground now, it is not truly ripe. If I must have to say the right thing, it is not ripe for a protest. Civil society organizations, myself, and other individuals have been on the platform and advocating for the purpose of what we call policy reform that will bring about economic development and a whole lot of it.
Okay.
So we don't need to go about protest. Did they have a protest before the local government autonomy was granted?
Exactly.
The answer is no.
So we'll come back to that. And I like that point where you said that the media should help. And you can be rest assured that what NTA is doing right now is what we know how best to do. You can couch NTA into covering such. I just need to correct that impression.
All right, thank you for defense on that part. Though.
No, but it's true. Let me get to you, Reverend. You and your colleagues these past days have been flooding the pulpit with pleas and telling everybody, preaching peace. Why? Why did you take it upon yourselves to go to that extent?
The message of peace, the desire for stability, the desire for progress for your nation is a spiritual and patriotic responsibility. Every pastor, every imam desire to see progress of his country, success of his country, and stability of his nation. Because if there's instability in Nigeria, you have to shut the doors of the church. Even the mosques will have to shut their doors. When we had COVID, we were compelled by the circumstance of that time to shut the doors of our church and mosques because of the situation. So knowing how protests can be massive and violent, pastors and imams are preaching. As my colleague rightly said, civil societies are also beginning to say, hey, wait a minute. We all agree that there is hunger in Nigeria, no competition, no debate about it. We all agree that things are not going the way we want. We all agree that constitutionally people have right to protest, people have right to express their grievances, people need to call government to account or government to order. But we're simply saying, wait a minute, in all this, there should be an application of wisdom. Fortunately, I was in Kenya during the Kenyan protests. The fact that I actually went to East Africa because I spent about 7 days in Kenya and about 4 days in Uganda. So there was a day we went out for tree planting. I planted a lot of trees and videoed myself about the trees, saying I'm dedicating it to Nigeria. But we couldn't come back easily from that tree planting into the city, into Nairobi. We had a journey of just about 45 minutes. It took us over 4 hours because every step we'd go, we would stop. So people are just saying, wait a minute. How far have we engaged in dialogue about this matter? Have we done enough? Have we engaged in dialogue enough? If we have, okay, what are the issues we brought to the table? We presented and we want actions to be taken. I'll give you an example. We could call people today to protest and say we want a reversal of the fuel price. And there's a process we'll do and we'll get it. We could call and say, hey, no, wait a minute. There's high cost of living. But you see, when you look at what is happening, there's so many things jammed into the box. You really don't know what are we protesting about. People will tell you, oh, this line of things. In a civilized community, when you go to protest with this everything, you end up not having anything. As we sit in this room, at the gate of White House, at the gate of Capitol Hill, and even the Parliament, Westminster in London, every day you see groups holding placards protesting one decision of government, one action of government, or the other. We have also a way we can do that. We have enlightened people in the community, but what some of us are afraid and asking question is that, are we protesting or we're instigating? I think we have to separate between protesting and instigation. Okay. Because if we protest, we'll come out and say, this is what we want government to do. And that's why when people ask questions, who are the champions of this protest? So that once the demand is met, they will be the ones to make announcement and tell people to go back. And they will also hold, whoever is part of their protest, there will be rule guiding the protest. But a situation where people blindly jump into it, not knowing exactly what it is, and at the end, we come back, as he cited the example of NSAS. Yes, we did protest NSAS, but what did we really achieve? What did we get? Okay. The Kenyan young men did protest. What did they actually hold now? So we have to really think, and that's where you have elders, you have people with experience who can guide you and say, yo, young man, you are right to ask for this, but understand that if you get it now, it may not be, or ask it this way and you will get it. The other way,
okay. All right, Reverend, I'm still going to stay with you. Okay. I know you've been around, apart from doing your normal pastoral job of preaching peace at the pulpit. You've been around, a while in this country. Please take us down memory lane. There's been protests in this country. There's been consequences. There's been cause and effects on the economy of this country. Can you share some of these experiences with us?
Yeah, because of our time, I may just use 2 or 3. Number one, sometimes in 2000, there was this issue of Sharia in Nigeria, especially in northern Nigeria. And some of us felt, wait a minute, what is it all about? Groups were coming every day to the State House of Assembly to protest for and against. Eventually, a day came up precisely on February 28, 2000. People came out to say, oh, we don't need Sharia. But the kind of mass mobilization and the way people came out, before you know what is happening, in one night, Kaduna State lost over 2,000 to almost 5,000 people. I participated in some of the burials, so I know this. And that's one danger. Some of us are looking at it and say, wait a minute, what do we gain out of it? There was also a protest before the emergence of the government of Buhari. But that protest was about fuel subsidy and the cost of fuel and the exchange rate. But many groups of people came together, protest and insist that either government reverse. Certain decisions were taken around that time, and there were some kind of negotiations and reversal. But let's be honest today, where have we gone? Because we really didn't come up with it. Even those who did the protest ended up having an opportunity and couldn't correct what they protested against. So some of these few experiences are things, then you come to the NSAS, because I want to take us just between 2000 and then 2014 or 13, then to the NSAS that came recently. We were engaging many youth during the NSAS protest. I remember then just coming in from Kaduna into Abuja, you cannot pass Dutse because everywhere is blocked. We had setbacks because when you looked at it, apart from because most protesters who go violent, though people have tried to justify that, no, the protesters themselves didn't go violent. In other places, they didn't go violent. In other places, they went violent. So let's admit where things were wrong. Yes, there were also a wrong use of force against them. That was also a wrong thing. But certain things didn't go right. So there were no proper organization of what exactly we wanted to achieve, what exactly we wanted to be sure we get from government. At the end, we only lost lives, we only lost properties, we only lost, our economy went back. So what we are saying is, yeah, we are going to protest. But we have a good time to protest. If you ask me, in 2 years, 6 months from now, everyone can go out to the ballot box and protest with his voter's card. And we will stop whatever we think we don't want. But if there is a development, because one thing with Nigeria is that the cry today can change in a twinkle of an eye tomorrow with certain events turn favorably. So that's where reasoning comes in, wisdom comes in, patience comes in, dialogue becomes important, because at the dialogue table, things you don't know can be explained.
Okay, let's just pause the discussion right now and hear the opinion of some Nigerians on this matter, as compared by Thomas Obotere.
We need peace in this country, because if there is no peace, everything in this country will not move smoothly.
Without peace, we can't move forward. It will be insecurities everywhere. There will be insecurities everywhere. You can't go anywhere. Even in the case of money, you can't still make money.
But I believe if we can tolerate each other, You are not brought up the way I'm brought up. But I should be able to accept my difference, know my weakness, know my strength, know your weakness, know your strength. Then we synergize together. Then as well, God first.
It doesn't matter your religion or tribe. Let's work hand to hand and together to achieve peace in the country.
My advice is we should come together, live in peace, we should pray to God, and God will surely answer our prayer. When we unite together, our thoughts should be one.
Okay, welcome back. Gentlemen, you heard Nigerians seeking for peace. How do you think that their rights and properties can be protected against, this protest and all it stands for? There will be looting, burning of things and all of that, even loss of lives. How would their lives be protected?
Yes, this is where our security agencies have a role to play. From Nyanya this evening, coming to Abuja, just from the Nyanya axis, if you come to the military checkpoint between Nyanya and Kubo, already there's military fortification there. If you get to Maraba, there's already troops that are already arranged for the purpose of this to either stop or to protect, because that is going to be the aim: stop them from having access or protect them. But you and I know that over the years, it is the rule of engagement has always been so brutal. This is where we need to define our rules as a people, and this is where we need to equally define the rules of the security agencies, because you can't just get to, like one of the letter I read, so funny, asking the Minister of FCT that they should remove the barbed wires, remove the gates of the Eagle Square. It's so funny. It's in fact, I don't really understand who composed such letters. And I was engaging in Nigeria yesterday. I said, look, so you read through these letters, and then all of these things demand has to be met. I mean, sometimes we should be very diplomatic in our approach, in our discussions. And so we first have to engage the security personnel, also talk to them. They need a lot of reorientations as engaging the people now, if eventually they come out. But I want to assure Nigerians that the real protest for the purpose for which these people are organizing themselves to come has been done today. We had Nigerians today across the state, even in Ego Square, that came out to say, look, we want peace, which just what some of the Nigerians have just spoken. We want peace. We could achieve this, and in a way get our result without coming to the streets. That alone is a protest. It's already a protest, a good protest against bad protest. So we should be able to differentiate a good protest and a bad protest. It's what's coming on 1st August. A good protest at the time? The answer is no. So our security agencies should, in a way, come up with a synergy and be able to tell amongst the protesters who is truly a looter, who is truly who and this. So I think they'll be able to police them in a way that the crowd will not be way much than the capacity to protect or to arrest.
Okay, well taken, well, Reverend. Yes, it is enshrined in Nigeria's constitution, the right to protest. So, but how are we going to make sure that this protest is not going to affect the lives of the ordinary man on the streets, the women, the children? I mean, they will go about their businesses, they'll go to markets, artisans, people who rely on what they do in a day to feed the family. How will this protest affect them?
I think we have a foundational problem, meaning every Nigerian is supposed to be under the rule of law. You have your right, I have my right. The fact is that your right stops where my begin, and my right stops where yours begin. So I must not intrude into what is yours and you don't. We have a department in the Nigerian security called the DSS or the SSS. They move around people, they know what people do. Even if the protesters have their way and come out, there could be such people around. If anybody among the protesters eventually takes a stone, throw at people, burn certain things, such could be identified and prosecuted. It's like watching a football game. You will see a large number of security watching the spectators. And that's how they'll be able to know who was that spectator that threw a stone into the pitch. The reason why people do things in Nigeria is because we have failed to enshrine this in our everyday life, ensuring that you don't do things and get away. The fact of all is that I'm not scared about this protest. I believe that they can come and it will fizzle out after some few days itself. And I also do not envisage and do not wish to see our security threatening them with use of force or whatever, but just helping them to see, because the problem is there are young people who have just been recruited without in the first place knowing what the protest is all about. This kind of engagement we are having, they are listening. There were other engagements that were held in the morning, they listen. Certain engagements will continue till Wednesday night. I believe they will listen, because one thing you do in situations like this is reduce the effect of whatever. But you can't completely shut them down, because they have. If anybody is sitting in Canada or in Toronto or wherever you call it, or in US or in Iceland or whatever, and monitoring and controlling and inciting people, people will come to know, hey, wait a minute, who is asking us to do this? Let him come and take the lead. And I believe those young people are asking questions. Today in Kaduna, we had a town hall meeting with the governor, with students, with youths, with women, religious leaders, traditional rulers. I wish other governors can do the same, because at that forum you will see NACAS is what we call the National Association of Kaduna State Students. We have all those different groups. We have road transport workers. We have every group. Labor, we're all there. After the governor explained to us, we all agree unanimously as Kaduna people that yes, they have a right to protest, but the situation of our state is not ripe for such protests. And we begin to explain some of the dangers. And you could see unanimously the larger people there, and including those who watch from home, are saying, yes, let's be careful. From previous experience, we ended up burying many people. We won't allow that happen. Look, even if we choose to stay at home, it's also a protest. We can just stay at home and it's protest saying, government, we can't go to work because there's no food. We can't go to work because we can't pay our light bill, or we can't pay our transport. It's protest, but asking people to come to the street. That's where we are saying, please be reasonable, apply wisdom, and understand that there are many ways you can protest. And already we have even done the protest. For the mere fact that this information came out some weeks ago, government is already aware that Nigerian masses are angry. And if government knows what to do, she's supposed to double her effort to correct things. If she fell in 2 months, 2 years, 6 months, we'll use our card to protest against them.
Government is already doing that.
Okay.
It's already doing that.
Let's take it from where he dropped it, talking about actions, inactions, and implications. You know, maybe it's time to begin to educate these people. Some of them don't know the implications of what they're about to enter. So let me get to you, Jonathan, please. What is the implication of protesters hijacking, blocking the roads, forcing innocent people who don't want to be part of what they're doing to join them, or stop them from, you know, going to where they're going, and then stopping their life generally? What is the implication?
All right, I'm going to use myself as an experience from what I gathered over the years. The last NSAS protest, I was launching my book. I was having a book launch in Wusetu. And after doing everything, nobody attended. Why? NSAS.
We have a minute.
And so, now blocking roads, it is not a constitutional right.
Okay.
Burning of quotas, it is not a constitutional right. So like Reverend said, where your right stops is where another starts from. So Nigerians and those that have been hired to come and, you know, protest in the situations where we've had ourselves insecurity. And instead of them to use the opportunity and take them to Sambisa Forest, they didn't do that.
Is it late to turn around and end
it is not late. It is not late because the government has solved the problem.
It's not late.
70,000 naira minimum wage has been passed.
Okay.
Others, like even the Senate has decided to say on Wednesday we have emergency meeting.
Okay.
And all of that is coming up
Our
right
time
now.
is up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, well said. Remember the adage, he who lives in a glass house do not throw stones.
That's right.
And do not even throw stone in the marketplace, because you just wouldn't know whether your wife, your mother, your daughter, or whoever just dashed into the market to purchase something. So please, let's not make this mistake again. Let me begin to thank my guests today. Let me start with you, Reverend Joseph John Hayab. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much. And Jonathan, thank you so much
for
always coming each time we call on you. Thank you so much. So we say a big thank you to you out there, our viewer, for your company and for being part of this. Remember, the program Nigeria Today airs weekdays at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also watch a repeat at 10 o'clock in the night, as well as other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I'm Mina Daniels. For now, it's goodbye.